A very warm welcome to the top three finishes of the FIA Formula One Miami Grand Prix. In third place, Oscar Piastri. In second place, Lando Norris, and taking his third win in a row and extending his lead in the World Championship to 20 points. Our winner, Kimi Antonelli. A brilliant win, Kimi. Very well done to you. It was a very different victory to the others, with pressure all the way. How pleased are you with what you've done out there?
Yeah, it was a good race, very special one. Was not an easy one because I had a bit of everything. Okay, the start was still not great, plus I did a mistake. Then I was lucky with how things played out despite the mistake, and then then obviously we were in a fight, me, Charles, and Lando, and then got passed by Lando. Did a little mistake on energy, and then I was chasing, and then with luckily the undercut worked very well, and then we found ourselves being chased, and but it was not easy because Lando was quick and he was applying a lot of pressure, and I knew I couldn't make any mistakes.
Tell us more about having Lando, the reigning world champion, on your gearbox for so long. What was that like?
Yeah, it was very stressful because it was also some, on the edge of getting so many times the overtake mode. So we know how powerful that is, and just I knew I couldn't make any mistakes, and it was not easy because the conditions were tricky today with the rain that kind of cleaned a bit the rubber that was on track, and was very slippery, and so it was not easy, but very happy that we brought it home. And of course, massive thanks to the team for the incredible job, and also to my family who was here the whole weekend.
You reported some kind of gearbox issue over the radio, I think. How did that play out? How much did that affect your performance?
And it was fine. So obviously it was adding stress because I was being chased and I knew I couldn't make any mistakes, and that wasn't helping for sure. But then once it lasted very shortly, so I was happy with that.
Look, final one from me. You have upgrades coming for Montreal, the next race. Just how much confidence do you have in this car now?
I have a really good confidence in the car. Obviously, it's we're in a great momentum. Hopefully the package is gonna work as we hope, but also McLaren is bringing another package, and the step they made this weekend was very big. So we just gotta keep pushing, keep raising that bar, because we saw this weekend how much it flipped compared to the first three races. So we just gotta stay on top of the game.
All right, very well done to you. Thank you, Kimi. Lando, let's come to you now. Career podium number 45 for you. What's your overriding emotion after that one?
I can look at it either way, I guess. I think I'm just very happy with the situation we're in, which is we're fighting for wins, or fighting for the win today. A pole, the sprint win. So I think when I look at it from that side, it's been a very, very strong weekend. I feel like I've done a very good job the whole weekend too. So there's a lot of positives, and like they just said, we've improved such a big amount, and the fact we're just fighting for a win when if you look at our pace in the races over the last couple, even though we were fighting for podiums and wins, and Oscar was, the pace and the speed we had was certainly not there. So the fact we made such a big step this weekend is great to see, and I'm very proud of the team, and all the work that's been put in has paid off immediately. But you always have to look at and ask yourself the question: do you feel like you maximized everything today? And I'm unsure about that. So I feel like there was a chance that we could have fought better for it. Just not simply letting him undercut us. I know he came and passed me on track because he had just the warmer tires out of turn 2, but yeah, we should have just never been in that situation in the first place. And I'm not saying we would have won the race, because I think Kimi drove an excellent race and his pace was very strong. His pace, especially end of stints, was incredibly strong. So he might have surpassed me later on in the second stint if we boxed earlier, but at least we would have given ourselves a fighting chance, and we didn't give that to ourselves today. So a little bit disappointed by that.
You say Kimi was strong. Do you think you were faster than him today?
No, I don't think so. I think we're talking small margins. But his pace at the end of the stint in the medium was a lot stronger than me, and was impressive how good they were at the end of stint 1. I think we both, we were both pushing flat out for every stint, but he could always then stay a bit closer to me when he was behind me than I could ever kind of get to him when I was behind him. I think one of the things that made it always a little bit tough was where our strengths and weaknesses lie. We're not good enough in the medium speed, which is turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, which is, the place that leads onto the longest straight, and the place where you can start to make someone defend and you can start to make something happen. And because we're too weak in the high speed, was always too difficult to start an attack or start making him do something that could give us a better chance, So I think we're still missing a little bit, but it can be as little as a tenth, and a tenth isn't a lot, but a tenth is also a lot on a day like today. So we have to keep working hard if we definitely want the wins.
At one point, Lando, we heard your race engineer Will Joseph come on the radio and report, maybe was it an issue with the rear wing? How did that affect performance?
I don't know. I have to see what they said. They just said there were some issues and I had to slow down a little bit. But I was struggling with the rear the whole day today. So I don't know what part it kind of started to get a little bit worse. So I'm unsure. I need to go and ask the team.
Okay, so you didn't get the win today, but you've got more upgrades coming for Montreal. Do you leave Miami feeling confident about the future?
I think you'd have to feel silly if you don't feel confident about the future when we improved so much this weekend. We also know it's a track that suits us. I'm always that guy that looks at things on the slightly more glass half empty side, and this is a track that suits us, and in the past has not suited the Mercedes quite so well. Yet they were still very, very fast, and we're going to go to a track that Mercedes have probably been the best at over the last 5-6 years. So we have to wait and see. I know we're bringing upgrades, but in Formula One, it's too easy to judge things over one race. You need to see how you are over a number of races and different styles of track. Street circuits, hot tracks, cold tracks, tight and twisty, fast circuits. So there's no point getting ahead of ourselves. We've had a very good weekend. I'm very proud of the team, but I also want to make sure they keep pushing and keep trying to improve things, because we still need that.
All right, Lando, thank you for that. Oscar, let's come to you. Very well done to you as well. A 28th career podium this afternoon. How pleased are you with how things panned out?
I think in terms of the result, very happy. Obviously for a long part of that race, it definitely wasn't looking like a podium. So to end up in third is a really good result. And as Lando said, the team's done a great job with the upgrades this weekend. I think we did a great job as well in hitting the ground running on Friday and maximising things. And I think, qualifying was a little bit harder to read. I think our impression after qualifying was that the others had just kind of maximised what they had a lot more, but we knew we had a little bit to find again after qualifying. But I think the pace we had today as a team was really strong, so that was really encouraging. Obviously for myself, I think the whole weekend I've been just that 10th or 2 off most of the time, which has made life a little bit trickier than it should have been at points. But I think in terms of being able to maximise the result after qualifying, I think I did a good job today.
And do you feel you took every opportunity this afternoon? Can we talk about lap 1, end of which you were P4? Can you just talk us through that?
Yeah, I got a great start. Obviously, yeah, turn 2 was pretty interesting once again. Yeah, it was obviously just trying to pick which way to go there, and I think our starts as a team have always been strong, and I think today was another good one. And then after that, the pace was strong. The first stint before the safety car, made a few mistakes and just wasn't. It just wasn't as good as I hoped it would be. But I think the second half of the race, I felt much more comfortable. I think the pace was just a lot better as well, and was able to chase down George and obviously Charles at the end as well. So very happy about that.
All right, final one from me. How do you see the battle with Mercedes as we go to Montreal? They've got the upgrades coming. You've got more coming as well.
It's going to be interesting to see. I think, as Lando said, we kind of need to see where we stack up at a few different tracks. But, I think especially, in the sprint side of this weekend, to have a 1-2 in the sprint on pure pace, that was a pretty big surprise for us. So things are working well. We expected the upgrades to be a good step forward, and they have been, and hopefully they are again in Canada. But obviously Mercedes didn't bring a lot this weekend, and they also have an upgrade package for Canada. So we'll have to wait and see how much that's worth for them.
Right. Thank you, Oscar. Thanks to all three of you. Let's now open this to the floor. Name and publication, please.
Thank you. Sahil Kapoor with NBC. A question for Kimi. I know it's still early in the season. You're now 20 points ahead in the championship. Did you expect to be leading at this point? And do you feel yourself growing more optimistic that you can win it all this year?
No, I did not expect it. It's obviously we're living such a good moment, but as I said before, it's still a very long season, and there's so many things that can change. George for sure is going to be super strong in Canada. He's always been very strong there, so he's for sure going to be back. He's going to be at the top, and but I think I feel much more comfortable in the car, much more in control as well, and I think we're just gonna keep trying our best. I'm gonna try to maximize every time I go on track, but let's see as well how Canada is gonna be. Hopefully we can repeat ourselves like this weekend, but we'll see also how the upgrades work. But I'm really proud of the team, of the job they're doing, and I'm really enjoying the journey.
Thank you. Next.
Fred Ferrelli, keep question to Kimi. I don't know if you're into statistics, but there is one that you have broken today. There were only 2 drivers who were able to sign their first 3 pole in a row, and their name was Senna and Schumacher. There were only 2 drivers who were able to sign 3 first win in a row. Their name were Hill and Hakkinen. So you're the first one to do both. What does that mean to you?
Oh, I didn't know. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool stat, but don't really want to think too much about it. I'm just gonna enjoy the moment, and but I know at the same time that we just gotta get back to work early, because obviously we have another break, let's say, which is not ideal, but just gonna try to prepare Canada the best way as possible in order to be back even stronger. So, but it's cool, I guess.
Graham Harris, Motorsport Monday. Question to all three of you. You've had a weekend with the new regulations, a sprint race, qualifying twice, and a race. How well do you think the FIA did? Is there anything more that needs to be doing, or are you very, very happy with the way things have worked out?
You want to go?
I think the reducing the harvest limit in qualifying has helped a bit. It's not fixed the problem or all the problems, but it's helping with one. The races are basically exactly the same, and I think today was my first proper experience of overtaking people and having to defend and stuff like that, and it's pretty crazy, to be honest. At one point, I could see in my dash, George was 1 second behind me, and managed to overtake me by the end of that straight, and it's just a bit random. All the closing speeds are huge, and trying to anticipate that as the defending driver is incredibly tough to do, and obviously for the overtaking driver, I wasn't that pleased with one of the moves that George did, but I kind of found myself almost doing the same move about 5 laps later, just because the closing speed is enormous. So from that side of things, not much has really changed. I think the collaboration again from the FIA and F1 has been good, but there's only so many things you can change with the hardware we have. So some changes in the future are, I think, still needed for sure. How quickly we can do it is the big question.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot to add. As you said, qualifying feels better, more natural. Races is still, this closing speed is, as I said, is massive, and you also need to trust the guy who is defending, because also with this active aero, the car is pretty lazy when you want to change direction. So you need to think in advance, and as I said, you need to trust as well the driver who is defending. But was a small step in the right direction, and let's see what's going to happen next.
I think they covered it well. It's a small step in the right direction, but it's not to the level that Formula One should still be at yet. I think we said yesterday, still in qualifying, if you go flat out everywhere and you try and pushing like you were in previous years, you still just get penalized for it. You still can't be flat out everywhere. It's not about being on as early on throttle everywhere. You should never get penalized for that kind of thing, and you still do. So honestly, I don't really think you can fix that. That's just you just have to get rid of the battery. So hopefully a few years that's the case.
Thanks all. Next.
Sam Shepard, Autosport. Question for Kimi. Kimi, a win on the same weekend. We lost a fellow Italian racer in Alex Zanardi. You're both from Bologna. Were you thinking about him at all and his resilience while you were fighting for that victory today?
Yeah, of course, and I think this race is, this win is for Alex. He was a good family friend as well, so it was terrible to hear that he passed away. And also today I really wanted to win for him as well, because I think he's also such a good inspiration as a person for what he's been through in his life. After the crash in IndyCar, how he came back was incredible. How he was able to move on and create a new life and still succeed. For me, it was such a role model as a person of someone who never gives up. So I think was pretty sad, the news, and today was the win was for him.
Thank you, Kimi. Next one.
Zach Kuhn, Sports Illustrated. Kimi, another difficult start off the line for you. What can you kind of say about how you have been able to rally past that adversity a couple times this season?
Yeah, I mean, today, to be fair, was not as bad. I think I lost 2 places. Sprint, I lost 6, so a little bit better, but still, no, it's not acceptable. I think, especially in a weekend like this, that the gap are a lot closer. It can really change the race. So I think is a point where also together with the team we need to, because yesterday, for example, in the sprint, procedure-wise was good, but just the grip level that we thought there was just not there. So I think also with the team, but for sure mainly from me, because I'm still a little bit inconsistent, especially on clutch drop. but I still don't have that confidence being consistent with that. I still have a bit of uncertainty, so it's a big point that needs to be improved. But I think yesterday I managed it better than yesterday. Yesterday I was very frustrated, and today I just kept it a bit cool, a bit better, and just managed to move on and focus about the race.
Thanks, Kimi.
Welcome back, everyone. The Miami Grand Prix has just been done a couple of hours ago, and it was astonishing, really interesting, with a couple of the DNSs in the beginning of the race, and with a couple of surprisingly front of the grip, and it was really interesting. The real story starts after the race, when we have the interviews and things like that. Now we have just listened to the press conference of the top three drivers, the Kimi, Antonelli, Lando, Norris, and Oscar Piastri. Because the top three drivers is sit down at the FIA press conference, that's where you hear the truth. Antonelli is the race winner today at Miami Grand Prix, and what stood out immediately was how calm he was. No hype, no overreaction, just pure control. He explained that the entire race came down to one thing: the tire management. He basically admitted that early on he wasn't even trying to attack Norris. Instead, he was just waiting for that real possibility and real moment. Managing the gap, protecting the tires, trusting that the second stint would come to him. And when it did, that's when he switched on. He described the overtake as tricky, especially because Norris defended hard, but you could tell he was confident the move was always going to happen. And the most interesting part, he said the car came alive on the hard tires. That's huge statement. Because of that, it tells us that Mercedes didn't just win this race on strategy, they had real pace when it mattered the most. And mentally, this win clearly means something, but Antonelli made it clear he's not getting carried away, which honestly makes him even more dangerous. In the other hand, we have the number 2 on the list. It's Lando Norris. And you could feel it. He was the driver who knew he could have won it, but he admitted the first stint felt great. He was comfortable in control, doing everything right. But the moment they switched in the second stint, they switched the tires, everything changed. He pointed the strategy at degradation, not mistakes, not strategy errors, just that he was protecting those tires too much, and he always tried to attack Antonelli in a couple of straights, but that Mercedes car was too fast for him, and he started also controlling the pace and tried to protect those tires to not to degrade that much. And this is where it gets interesting. He said that defending against Antonelli was a balancing act, because yes, you can fight, but if you destroy your tires doing it, your race is over anyway. So in a way, he had to accept losing the lead. That's tough position to be in. Still, he kept it realistic, no excuses, no drama, just small differences. And he also praised his team for doing everything this weekend to make the car fast and amazing. And McLaren is still in the fight for that championship, but we will see what's going to happen in the next races, because this is becoming to get really interesting. Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, and Verstappen in the mix, and really interesting. Piastri, on the other hand, he finished P3 on this race. He was calm, straight to the point, no unnecessary emotion. He described his race as controlled, which is exactly what it looked like. But he also admitted something important. He didn't quite have the pace to fight to the top 2, especially in the clean air, because in the end of the race, he had the opportunity to pass Leclerc and then get to the number 3, and he also passed Verstappen. and he had a couple of fights in the act. And it was really interesting for him because he got to feel that action a couple of times, not just like Norris and Antonelli that just drove to the track and didn't have any fights at all. Too far from Norris to attack, but comfortable enough to hold P3. And while that might sound unwindful, it's actually very valuable because while others push too hard and make mistakes, Piastri just brings the car home, constant, reliable, and always there. And in a championship fight, that matters more than people think. But the best part was of the press conference, that little moment between the drivers. Norris joked that Antonelli made life too difficult for him today. Antonelli laughed and basically said, I had to because I need to prove myself because I'm a rookie and I'm trying to drive as good as I can and do as best as I can for the team. In the other hand, Piastri was just sitting there casually admitting he was hoping they'd slow each other down and have a chance to attack them, but that small exchange tells you everything about the dynamic that they have, the respect, the competition, and just a bit of tension underneath it all. So what's the real takeaway of all of this that we learned on the press conference that we just watched together? Antonelli is thinking like a champion already. Norris knows he let a win slip but understands why. Piastri is quietly stacking results and staying in the game and waiting for the right moment to attack and get on top of that on that leaderboard. And maybe most importantly, Mercedes and McLaren are now properly fighting each other for that championship, not on paper, not on potential, but on track and over a full race distance. And this is really interesting for the sport because as much as we have fights between teams, that's the better for the sports and the better for the fans because we love to have action. We like to see teams compete with each other in a respectful way and see them compete for the championship and fight for that 1 point that will give them that trophy in the end of this season. And if this is how you're talking now, imagine what happens when the pressure gets even higher. This is my only thoughts that I have for this press conference. It was a really interesting question and answers from the drivers and from the reporters, and I had a blast and it was really interesting. This is my own recap from what I listened and from what I could have gotten out of those words. Let me know what you think. Did Norris play it safe or was Antonelli just unstoppable today? And please write it down in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe our channel. If you like this kind of content that we provide for you, please like our videos and subscribe to our channel. Tell your friends because your help gives us motivation to continue with our work, with our hard work. And yeah, as always, I'll catch you in the next one.